Arda Güler has easily become one of the best football superstars in this upcoming generation. In fact, with his amazing pressing, superb technical ability, and thunderous left foot, he has all the tools to become a key player for Real Madrid and the Turkish National Team for the next 10 to 15 years. But how did Arda Güler get to this point in stardom, where he's become one of the biggest names of football, all while still being a teenager? Well, let's take a look at the rise of Arda Güler. Now, Arda Güler was born on February 25th, 2005 in the capital of Turkey, Ankara, but more specifically in the district of Altındağ. And not gonna lie, I low-key just found out that Istanbul is not the capital of Turkey. Anyways, growing up, Arda Güler and his family were obsessed with football. So obsessed, in fact, that Arda Güler was training with his left foot since day one, even when his left foot wasn't his natural foot. You see, when Arda was a toddler, his father used to place balloons in front of him at their home in Ankara for Arda to hit, but his father only allowed him to use his left foot. His father explained the reason why, which was because the Güler family had no left footers in the family, and he wanted Arda to become a left-footed player, hence why he forced him to use it more. That's crazy. Anyways, all of this balloon ball kicking paid off, because Arda Güler was incredible at football at a young age. So much so that when he turned 9 years old, he joined the academy of Ankara-based club, Gençlerbirliği. I definitely butchered the pronunciation of that club's name, I'm not gonna cap. Anyways, he was so good at this academy that he started to play in age groups above him right away, which if you've been watching my videos for a while now, you would know that almost every professional footballer played above his age group during the youth days. Now at his time at the Gençlerbirliği Youth Academy, Arda Güler was shining above his teammates, with one of his coaches even saying that it felt like the football was one of his organs, a part of his body. He even became famous with the senior team too, because one time in 2018, he was given the task to be a ball boy during their game against Trabzonspor, and his team gave away a penalty in the dying moments. Güler was behind the goal as a ball boy, and he felt like he knew where the penalty taker was going to shoot the ball. So he yelled out right, and the goalkeeper dove to the right and saved the spot kick, thus making Arda Güler the hero of the night despite being a ball boy. Now during one of Arda Güler's youth games, a Fenerbahce scout, Serhat Pekmekçi, was in attendance, and he was blown away by Arda Güler's tremendous ability on the ball. So much so that he called the president of Fenerbahce right away, and he told him to sign the kid, saying that he could be a starter at Fenerbahce by the time he turned 15 years old. But the president laughed it off, and basically thought bro was trolling. But Serhat, the scout, wasn't. In fact, after visiting Arda Güler and his family and saw that he was a childhood Fenerbahce fan with posters surrounding the club spreading across his room and him idolizing a Fenerbahce player, Alex de Souza, he decided to make a compilation tape of Arda Güler's best moments, and he put it on DVD and told the president's driver to show it to him with his job being at risk. Eventually, the president listened, and Arda Güler would join the system of his boyhood club, Fenerbahce, in 2019 for only 200,000 euros with 200 more thousand and potential extras. Right away, Arda Güler was put in the under-19 setup at just 15 years old, and despite playing like 4 age groups up, Arda Güler was excelling, scoring 10 goals and assisting 7 times in 22 games. This would then lead him to sign his first professional contract in January 2021, when he was still only 15 by the way. And after that, Vitor Pereira, the Fenerbahce coach at the time, bumped him up to first team training, even giving Arda Güler some high praise, saying that he worked in FC Porto's academy for years, but even with that, not many players were at Arda Güler's level. Keep in mind, he's talking about like a 15 or 16-year-old Arda Güler. This isn't anywhere near who he is now, and definitely nowhere near his full potential that he'll probably accomplish in the near future. Eventually, Arda Güler would make his senior team debut in the 2021-22 season in a Europa League playoff round, and then a few days later in his first Super League match, he came on with 3 minutes left in the match and got his first assist. And then throughout the remainder of the 21-22 season, he would start replacing Mesut Ozil in games, which was also one of his idols, because Arda Güler was simply the younger and potentially the better version. Obviously, Ozil was a great player and all, but at this point in life, he was getting old, and it was only a matter of time before Arda Güler stepped in and replaced him. Eventually, in March 2022, Güler would become Fenerbahce's youngest goal scorer in Super League history, having just turned 17 years old 3 weeks prior. By May 2022, Arda Güler scored 3 goals and got 3 assists in just 255 minutes of game time of senior team football. Not to mention that he was going in and out of the under-19 Super League, where he would also have 4 goals and 6 assists in just 8 games. By the time the 2022-23 season came around though, Arda Güler was a full-fledged senior team footballer for Fenerbahce, especially because Arda Güler's idol, Mesut Ozil, departed the club and soon after announced his retirement. With that, Arda Güler was given the number 10 kit too, showcasing Fenerbahce's trust in him, with him having a number that belonged to some Fenerbahce legends, like Alex de Souza and JJ Okocha for example. But at the start of the season, Jorge Jesus, the new Fenerbahce manager, that also didn't last very long in all honesty, was reluctant to rely on the youth. That's why for the most part of the beginning of the 22-23 campaign, Arda Güler's minutes were him coming off the bench. But Arda still balled out whenever he got the chance to play. But before we talk about that, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it and it means a lot, so thank you. And also if you guys can, follow my Twitter and my Instagram, both at Nabuto. If you just want to hear my thoughts thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall, just to get to know me more. So if you want to, feel free to hit me up with that follow. Thank you. Back to topic, in his first match of the season against Kasımpaşa, he scored 2 minutes off the bench in just 21 minutes of play. Then in the Europa League group, Fenerbahce needed a win against Dynamo Kiev to secure a top spot, and Arda Güler did not disappoint in this game, with him scoring the opening goal by lobbing the entire defense and then contributing to one later on to secure a 2-0 win. And after this game, a ton of newspaper outlets started to catch on to his hype, with one of them even saying that his talent only comes around once in 100 years. His impressive performances for Fenerbahce would eventually get him called up to the Turkish National Team as well, which then forced Fenerbahce to pay his old club, Gençlerbirliği, a little more than a couple million euros, which is a lot for now a second division Turkish club. Now, although Arda Güler was balling out in the Super League in the 22-23 season, he performed much better in the Turkish Cup, where he assisted a decisive goal in the round 16, scored in the quarterfinals, and even played a huge part in the semifinals, with his flashy backheel playing an important part in Fenerbahce's opening goal. Eventually, in the final against Başakşehir, the 18-year-old Arda Güler at the time balled out, with him creating 8 goal-scoring opportunities in the game alone, which is just absolutely insane. With him assisting the opening goal of the game, which eventually helped Fenerbahce win the Turkish Cup 2-0, he won the man of the match in the game. And also eventually, because of this game, and the fact that he got 6 goals and 7 assists in 35 games in his first full season as a professional footballer, and also the fact that he was on top of the Turkish league in assists per 90, key passes per 90, open play passes in the final third per 90, successful dribbles per 90, possession adjusted pressures per 90, counter pressures per 90, indicating he's a good presser despite being a creative player, etc. And that he was just a very good creative attacking player that loved to slide in from the right with his thunderous left foot. Real Madrid started to take notice. And once Arda Güler scored his first goal for his country in the Euro 2024 qualifiers against Wales in early June, which was an absolute golazo by the way, Real Madrid knew that they had to pounce on this kid and not miss out on signing him. There was a slight problem though for Madrid. There were a ton of top European clubs eyeing Arda Güler, including the likes of Arsenal, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, PSG, and their arch rivals Barcelona, who apparently were pretty close to triggering the release clause of 17.5 million euros for Arda Güler. But when Real Madrid is calling you to join them, it's kinda hard to say no, especially when Real Madrid paid over the Fenerbahce release clause and gave the Turkish club 20 million euros instead, something Arda Güler was asking Real Madrid to do since he was desperate to join the club. And eventually it happened, and despite Fenerbahce fans desperately wanting Arda Güler to stay, the young Turkish boy felt like he had no choice but to accept this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with arguably the biggest club in the world, and he joined the Spanish Giants on July 6, 2023. Now, Arda Güler's first season at Real Madrid, aka the 23-24 season, wasn't anything too crazy. In fact, for a large majority of the season, like 90% of it, Arda Güler played a little role in Madrid achieving great success. But it wasn't only because Real Madrid have superstars all over the pitch. Something serious actually happened to Arda Güler at the beginning of the season. With all the hype and expectations on Arda Güler to have a great season, especially with Real Madrid's tweet welcoming him to the club becoming the most liked tweet in the club's history, Arda Güler had a lot of pressure on him, and as he was preparing himself for the start of the season, he had a bad accident in training which damaged his meniscus tendon, which would keep him out for at least half a season. This injury was so serious that there was a chance that Arda would never be the same player again, especially whenever Arda Güler was almost set on returning. He kept on receiving setbacks that would delay his debut even longer. But eventually, after 6 months of being treated and recovering, Arda Güler was called up for the Copa del Rey match against Argentina, and this is where he would get his debut, contributing to their 3-1 win. And a few days after that, Arda Güler will win his first trophy with Real Madrid in the Supercopa de España final, where Madrid slapped out Barcelona 4-1. Eventually, after getting substitute minutes in La Liga here and there, Real Madrid would pretty much wrap up the La Liga title, and their focus was on the Champions League final against Dortmund. So for the last 5 out of the 6 games Real Madrid played in La Liga, Ancelotti would give Arda Güler significant game time, allowing him to start in 4 of those matches, where he would actually end up scoring 5 goals, showcasing to the world that he's a big talent that's just ready to take off. Eventually in the Champions League final, despite getting 0 minutes, Madrid won 2-0, which meant that Arda Güler would become the first Turkish player to acquire a Champions League medal, making history for his nation. And that nation, Turkey, would end up calling him up for their Euro 2024 campaign. Now for me, I don't watch Real Madrid week in and week out, so although I knew that Arda Güler was a top talent, I didn't really know how good he was. But obviously at the Euros, I was watching every game, and oh my, Arda Güler, you rocked my world. In Turkey's opening game against Georgia, the game was at a 1-1 stalemate, and somebody in Turkey had to pull off a masterclass to get their side over the line. And that's where Arda Güler came in, because when Turkey needed a hero, he arrived, scoring an absolute golazo from distance to give his side the lead, becoming the first teenager to score in his European Championship debut since Cristiano Ronaldo in 2004. And eventually, Turkey will win this game 3-1, with Arda Güler securing himself the man of the match. And with this goal, he would become the 5th youngest goal scorer in the tournament's history, and the youngest debutant to find the net at just 19 years and 114 days old, breaking CR7's record. Then in the round 16 game against Austria, a side that was being labeled as a Euro dark horses, with them topping their difficult group containing France and Netherlands, Arda Güler proceeded to have another masterclass, providing 1 assist from his 2 corner kicks that led to a goal, which helped his country beat Austria 2-1 and progress to the quarterfinals for the first first time since 2008. And with this assist, Güler became only the third teenager in history to score an assist in the same Euros, following Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney. Then in the quarterfinals, Arda Güler would get another assist against the Dutch to give his side the lead in the game. But with Turkey's defense crumbling, they still lost the game 2-1. But despite all of that, it's clear to me and many football fans that Arda Güler is one of the brightest young superstars that football has to offer, and him continuing to get more minutes for Real Madrid, which is planned for this following 2024-25 season, with him also getting the number 15 shirt, and him being the star of the Turkish national team for many years to come. I'm sure Arda Güler could potentially place himself as a star that everyone will remember. And who knows, maybe he can win the Ballon d'Or one day, just like a player that kind of reminds me of him, Lionel Messi. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And please be sure to follow my Twitter and my Instagram. The links are on my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to learn more about the disappearance of the American Pele, aka Freddie Adu, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.